All right, so anyway, in terms of technique and form, okay, we think of the word aspire. So first of all, the A, that means attention to detail. What details are we referring to? Well, when playing, you want to start off making sure that the top of the hand and the forearm are nice and level. A straight line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now watch what happens when I simply relax my fingers. They automatically curl on their own. See that?
Yeah.
Traditionally, many teachers will tell you, round your fingers, pretend you're holding a ball. Well, guess what? You pretend you're holding a ball, your hands get tense, right? That's not natural. What you want that's natural is you start off with a straight hand and then just relax the fingers. They automatically turn into a curve. Okay? Then you simply turn it over. Now when you're playing, you'll notice how you can see my knuckles. That's very important when you're playing, that you can actually see the knuckles. Because that means when we're striking the keys, we're striking from this large joint right there at the hand. The top joint. And by striking from there, that actually provides all your power. Oftentimes, especially beginner students, when they're playing, they tend to play flat like that and they're doing this, which is a much weaker position. It's a lot more work to do that, and it sounds a lot weaker, a lot more painful than to simply wave into the keys like this. That requires no effort, yet it's a lot more powerful. Instead of the old spider that got hit by Raid. Type of thing. You don't want that. Alright, so now the next thing, you want to make sure that the fingers are nice and firm. Once you get them there, your wrist should always be totally relaxed. Okay, like a broken wrist. As Prokofiev once said, fingers of steel, wrist of butter. In other words, your wrists are just floaty. So as you're playing, you could literally put a feather underneath and your hand would float up. But your fingers, however, stay firm. You couldn't budge those with pliers if you want. Okay? Your shoulders, you want to make sure from the shoulders that you're relaxed in the shoulders. That's important. As far as your head, generally speaking, you want to make sure that it's attached. Aside from that part, you do want to make sure that it's not slouched over forward like that. Why? By slouching over forward, what ends up happening, you put a lot of tension and pressure on your upper back, the traps. And what ends up happening there is that goes down to the shoulders, into your arms. Next thing you know, practicing becomes painful. Okay, you end up fatigued. So by keeping your head square on top of your spine, okay, you can lean forward, that's fine, but you'll notice there's no pressure, there's no tension. You're able to keep the shoulders down and relaxed. Okay, and the arms and wrists should be loose and floating, and the fingers firm and round. That's very important. Now, of course, I'm going to repeat this 4 trillion times over the course of time as we take lessons, because, you know, like everybody, you'll forget some things, and that's fine. So now that's the A. Those are the, in terms of the details, attention to detail. The P in Aspire, that's the S. I left one out. That's stretch the spine. So when playing, again, did your teacher ever tell you to sit tall when you're playing?
Yeah.
Alright, instead of thinking about sitting tall, because think about it, when you think of sitting tall, you arch your back and you tense up, trying to sit tall. Well, that's not relaxed. Okay, you want to play what's natural for the body. So instead of thinking of sitting tall and tensing up, just think of stretching the spine, separating the disc in your spine internally. Have you ever done yoga?
No.
Not yet? Okay. So, that's how I said not yet. So, what you're going to end up doing is totally relaxing, stretch the spine. That automatically makes you sit tall, but it doesn't cause the shoulders to tense. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Everything stays relaxed. So now, your hands in good position, your spine is stretched. Next comes P, that's the pulse. So when playing, you generally want to feel the beat of the music. You don't want to count the beat. So for example, if we're playing old-time rock and roll, what you don't want to do is think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, counting out loud. Why not? Have you ever seen someone try to count out loud while dancing? It's pretty awkward, pretty lame looking, right? It's the same thing with music. You want to feel the beat. Okay? When you're dancing, you feel the beat. You don't count it out loud in your head. You want your head to think about the pitches, which notes, which are the right notes to hit, your hand position, all the rest of that. So you want to feel the beat with your body. How do you feel the beat with your body? Imagine that you're sitting on a train. Like, have you ever been on a train? Where you imagine you're sitting over the wheel, and you hear so your body's actually moving with the beat. So now your body becomes the actual metronome. Do you understand? Now a body in motion like that is good technique. You want to move with it. You don't want to sit there stiff and still. The music's not part of you. How do you feel it? Right? Rhythm is the most important part of music. How do we know that? Think about it. Imagine there's a band playing. They're hitting, they're really jamming. Okay, but every now and then somebody hits a sour note. But the band is cooking. And nobody even notices. Everyone's having a good time dancing, right? Along with it. Now imagine that you have a band up there playing all the right notes, but the drummer keeps missing the beat. What's going to end up happening? The crowd's going to start throwing tomatoes and bottles and whatever else happens to be handy, right? We don't want that. So that's proof that rhythm is the most important thing, because that's what you actually feel. That's what moves your body in music. Okay? So anyway, so that's the ASP. The I is when you're about to play, you take a nice deep inhale, a slow inhale. Are you familiar with breathing from the diaphragm? What that means?
Yeah.
That's what you do. Take a nice slow deep breath. And meanwhile, you're feeling that pulse. As you start to ride the pulse, at the same time you exhale and then play the phrase. Now, why is that important that you're able to do that? It's because music is a language. You have to understand that. Imagine if I was speaking, and when I speak I never take a breath, I never speak in sentence, I just continuously go on from one word to the next word, from one sentence to the next sentence, and never even take a breath. What's eventually going to happen is either you're going to turn around, you're going to walk away, or I'm going to get blue in the face and I'm going to pass out. Right? You're going to just tune me out, whatever I'm saying, you're going to say, I can't take it anymore. Well, it's the same thing with music. Somebody, when you play without sentences or phrases, no pauses, what ends up happening, it becomes unemotional. It's just connected notes, just like somebody speaking connected words with no expression to them. It's the same thing. So by playing along with your breathing, that forces your breathing to take breaths. See what I'm saying? That's very important. And so there, aspire, that's paying attention to detail, the wrists, the hands, the arms, the shoulders, the spine, all the rest of that. Then stretch the spine, making sure that shoulders are relaxed. Then the pulse, feel the beat. Then you take a slow, deep inhale. As you're starting to ride that pulse, feel it. At the same time as when you exhale and then play the phrase, whatever that a short line in music that you're going to play. And then it ends when the phrase does. I know this sounds all like technical, blah, 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 blah. See? Yeah?
No.
Okay. So, again, we're going to go over this a trillion times. And eventually it'll start to become part of your natural playing. And ideally what's going to happen, playing's actually going to make you feel refreshed when you're done playing. Okay? So, you know what? You're a trooper. You hung in there for over an hour. Whoa. I have to give you extra points for that one. Have a good one, Reagan.